move to, in any case, for me, closer to my home, to Algeria. And Farid.
Good morning, everyone, and maybe good afternoon or good evening for some of you. So I'm very happy for this opportunity to speak at the IPRA conference. Today, I am Farid FLICI, a researcher from the Research Center in Applied Economics for Development in Algiers, Algeria. And today, I will be speaking about the limits of parametric reform.
So the Algerian system is one pillar system based on pay-as-you-go principle, is composed by two schemes, one for salaried workers managed by the CNR and another one for self-employed workers. And it's managed by the CASNOS. In this work, we focus only on the salaried worker schemes, which cover almost 90% of total retirees. Retirement age is 16 for men and 55 for women. The first pension benefits is estimated as the product of 2.5, which is an annuity factor, by the duration of contribution, and by W star, which is the final wage or the average wage of the 5 years of activity. So 32 years is the maximum duration of contribution, and it leads to a replacement rate of 80% of the final wage. And each year, the pension benefits is upgraded by 5% to fit inflation. So how does it's just a reminder about the mechanism how the pay-as-you-go system works. So if we consider this plot on the left, the blue correspond to the working age, where a worker is asked to pay contribution and to get some retirement benefits at retirement age, which is represented here in green color. That's from the point of view of one generation or from one person point of view. But from the retirement provider point of view, what matters is this balance between the total contributions and the total expenses, which is very tied to the balance between the population at working age of retirees and the population of workers. And here and because of this, that aging matters. If we look at this pyramid, which represents the expected evolution of the Algerian population pyramid of Algeria from 2020 to 2070, and here on the right side, we observe the evolution, the expected evolution of the ratio of the population at working age for one people at retirement. Actually, we are at a value of 6.5, but this ratio is expected to fall down and to reach a value of 2.5 per 2045, and we can imagine the effect that this will have on the financial balance of the retirement system, which start already to face some difficulties of financial deficit starting from 2003. And in my opinion, the situation will be worse in the coming decades. We already did publish the work in co-authoring with Frédéric Blanchet from Lyon in France, about the financial sustainability of the Algerian retirement system for the coming 50 years, but it's based on one scenario. And here we are wondering if parametric reforms will be enough to ensure long-term sustainability within a changing environment. That's the research question that we are trying to answer in this presentation. So coming back to the methodology and the literature review, I had a look on the literature on the assessment of the financial sustainability of retirement system all over the world, and it seems for me that most retirement sustainability assessment methodology or studies in the literature are either one scenario based or there is just a limited case where a limited number of scenarios are compared. We can see it, for example, Wang, and all we treated the case of China in 2019. So here in this paper, we are proposing to crossing different combination of reform actions with the scenario about the future evolution of the environment. In total, we had 100,000 combination of reforms action, and we used the almost 20 hours for given the analysis. We took 15 scenarios for mortality, 3 scenarios for mortality, and 5 for the employment, for salaried employment rate, for the affiliation of salaried workers for social security, 3 scenarios also for wage evolution and for the collection. That's the environment table. We have the system variable or the parameters that the CNR or the retirement provider can handle in order to keep the system sustainable for the long run. We have the age of retirement, the reference wage period, the contribution rate, and the annuity rate. So that's, I will not go into a detailed explanation of the methodology that we have used for assessing the financial sustainability, because we don't have enough time. That the most important thing is how we use this data to estimate the future retirement expenses. What we proposed in FLICI and Planche 2018 is that for each cohort of retraites, we estimate the expected duration of contribution. This value is used to estimate the average first pension benefits for this cohort, and then we continue with the 5% each year. We upgrade the pension benefits by 5 years yearly, represent 80% of the total direct pension benefits, while administration fees represent only 1.5%. So what data is needed? We need 3 types of data. We have first the population data. So we did population projections, a multi-scenario population projections up to 2070. We need contribution surface, or the surface of the age-specific probability of contribution to CNR, which is estimated based on the employment rate surface, the salaried employment rate surface, and finally the affiliation social security surface. The third information that we need is the salary surface. So that's the result we obtained with the population projections, and we observe here in the top left, it's lowest population growth expected, while in the bottom left is the maximum population growth that we can get up to 2020. That's an overview about the employment data in Algeria. So 42% of the population at working age are active or are supplying their labor force on the labor market. 37 are employed, with 30% only are salaried workers, and only 70% are affiliated to social security. Having this data by age, it allows to obtain this plot on the right side of the table, which represent the age-specific probability to contribute for social security as salaried workers. And when we sum up all these probabilities, we obtain what we call the expected duration of contribution. And here, for example, for men, it's 40 years, and for women, it's less than 5 years, but it's an average on the global population at working age. That's the surface of the age-specific probabilities to contribute for social security as salaried workers, males and females, and we have 2D presentation in the low, in the upper side is the 3D, and in the low side is the 2D. How to read this? For example, in this example, this point corresponds to an individual aged 42 years in 1990, which has a probability of 45% to contribute to social security for as salaried workers. And it's like this that we estimate the expected duration of contribution by retracting back the history of contribution of each individual or each cohort reaching the retirement age. That's the salary surface that we use to estimate the salaries used to estimate the contributions, and also the final wage estimate used as a reference to estimate the pension benefits. That's the results. The dark line represents the baseline scenario, which means that we assume that environment will either keep constant or follow its recent evolutions. And now reform actions are taken, while the other lines in gray represent the results or the financial balance of the CNR obtained until under the different scenario. And what we observe here, that in the best condition, what I mean by the best condition, that means that heavy reforms action are taken, and which meet also, on the other hand, a very favorable environment change. In these two conditions, the current design of the system can only keep sustainability until 2014. So the pension provider in Algeria will be asked to plan some heavy reforms, not only parametricals, but change the system or implement some second or third pillar. Thank you for your attention, and here's some references that we have used in this work. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to close the session formally with a small round of applause for the presenters.